Demacia!
The Might of Demacia is a great pick for beginners. Garen's combination of sustain, engage, AoE damage, damage reduction, and execution ability makes him a durable and formidable presence in Wild Rift. With Garen, you have an outstanding passive which heals him after not taking damage for a few seconds, enhancing his sustain and lane. Plus, his Q can silence and damage an enemy while also granting Garen a burst of movement speed. Using his W will passively grant armor and magic resistance and can be activated for a shield and damage reduction. And finally, with a huge ultimate, Garen can deal a large amount of true damage to single enemy champion, scaling with the target's missing health, making it effective for finishing off a opponent.
As fast as I can.
Malphite mix of durability, poke, damage resistant and strong engage make him a resilient and impactful tank in Wild Rift, and a great choice for new rifters. His durability relies on his passive, which grants him a shield that regenerates after not taking damage for a few seconds, enhancing his tankiness. You can use his Q to deal damage and steal movement speed from the target, helping him harass enemies and secure farm. Malphite's W allows him to passively boost his armor and can be activated to deal AoE damage and empower his next basic attack to hit harder. Ground Slam, his E will let you deal damage in an area and reduce the attack speed of enemies hit, useful in both skirmishes and team fights. And let's not forget one of the most engaging ultimate in the game, which makes him unstoppable as he dashes to a location, dealing massive AoE damage and knocking up all enemy hits, making it a game changer tool in team fights.
Mundo too strong for you!
Mundo offers a mix of high sustain, consistent damage, crowd control reduction, and health regeneration, make you a resilient and enduring fights. His passive regenerates 1% of his maximum health every second, allowing you to stay in fights longer. With his Q, you can deal damage based on the enemy current health and slow them, making it useful for both poking and chasing down targets. Using his W, you can reduce the duration of disable affecting him and deal damage to nearby enemies. His E will grant you a bonus attack damage and makes his next attack deal additional damage based on his missing health. And what makes him a great pick is his ultimate. With it, Mundo can instantly heal himself and increase his movement speed and health regeneration significantly for a duration, making him nearly impossible to kill.
I thought you'd never pick me.
Amumu's combination of AoE damage, crowd control, and tankiness make him a valuable initiator and frontline presence in Wild Rift, and a great pick for new players. His ability make him a huge deal in team fights. His Q you can stun and pull him toward targets and initiating fights or catching fleeing enemies. Plus, using his E will passively reduce physical damage taken and can be activated to deal AoE damage around him. And let's not forget that with his passive, Amumu reduce enemy magic resistance, and with his W can deal continuous AoE magic damage and heal him based on enemy maximum health. And finally, with the game changer ultimate, which deal AoE damage and stun all nearby enemies, providing powerful crowd control and turning the table in team fights.
Demacia must lead by example.
Lux offer a mix of damage, utility, and control that can greatly benefit your team in various situations. Lux's ability deal a huge magic damage that allow her to burst enemy champion quickly. Using her Q, you can root up to 2 enemies, making it easier for you and your team to engage and disengage. And with her W, Lux throw her wand, shielding any allies it passes through, providing protection in team fights. With Lux's E, you have an excellent tool for clearing minions wave, giving you the best laning control in the laning phase. And let's not forget about her ultimate, which is one of the best ultimate in the game. You can launch a long-range laser that bursts any enemy champion standing on its way, making it effective in executing low health enemies and turning the tide in team fights.
Set the world on fire.
Brand's combination of burst damage, crowd control, and AoE abilities make him a huge threat in various games. With Brand's ability, you can be a significant threat to enemies by quickly melting their health. Through his passive, you can ignite enemies, causing them to take additional damage over a few seconds. Using his Q, you can stun enemies if they are already ignited by Blaze, providing the excellent control in fight. Brand's W deal AoE damage, allowing Brand to clear minions wave and harass opponent for a distance. With his E, you can spread fire to nearby enemies if the target is already ablaze, creating chaos in team fights. And let's not forget about his ultimate, which bounces between enemies, dealing high damage and applying blaze, making it a huge threat for enemy line.
Say hello to my friends of varying sizes.
If you feel like playing a good and crazy EDC, Jinx is your champion. She offers a combination of high damage output, versatility, crowd control, and execution potential, making her a formidable marksman in Wild Rift, and one of the best picks for the Duke players. You can get crazy playing Jinx, and her passive is the reason, which grants her a significant movement and attack speed boost after a takedown, allowing her to quickly reposition or chase down enemies. And if you want to change the ammo type, her Q come in handy, allowing you to switch between her minigun that increase attack speed with each hit, and her rocket launcher that provide long range and AoE damage. Using her W, a long range skill shot that deal damage and slow the first enemy hit, useful for poking and catching fleeing enemies. When you feel threatened, you can deploy mines that root and damage enemies who step on him, providing excellent zoning and peel for her team using her E. And if you see enemy fleeing or feel like stealing Baron, Jinx ultimate come in handy, a global skill shot that deal more damage the farther it travels and the lower the target health is, making it powerful for securing kills for a distance.
Watch your mouth, kid, or you'll find yourself respawning at home.
The sexy lady in the rift will blow you with a mix of sustained damage, mobility, crowd control, and powerful AoE ultimate, make her a versatile and impactful marksman in Wild Rift. Misfortune serves damage with her passive, which deals bonus physical damage whenever she attacks a new target, enhancing her overall damage output. The same thing with her Q, which can critically strike and bounce to hit a second enemy, making it useful for both laning and skirmishes. Fortune is all about damage through her W, which passively increases her movement speed after not taking damage and can be activated for a burst of attack speed and additional movement speed. And if you love winter and rainy cloud, Fortune will make it rain for you, using her E, which creates a storm of bullets in target area, slowing and damaging enemies caught within it. And the most OP ultimate in the game with no jokes, Misfortune unleash a barrage of bullets in a cone, dealing crazy amount of damage over a few seconds, making it a game-changing ability in team fights.
Fired up and ready to serve.
Blitzcrank combination of power engage, crowd control, mobility, and durability makes him a formidable support and playmaker in Wild Rift. With his Q, Blitzcrank pull an enemy towards him and deal damage, making it effective for catching out opponents. Using his E, Blitzcrank empowers his next basic attack to deal double damage and knock up the target, providing strong follow-up after a successful grab. And if you caught an action, his W grants him a burst movement speed and attack speed, useful for both engaging and escaping danger. One of the reasons that make Blitzcrank durable in fights is his passive, which grants him a shield based on his mana when his health drops below a certain amount. It will increase his survivability in fights. Now let's talk about the most explosive ultimate in the game, Static Field, Blitz Ultimate, which passively marks enemies with a lightning shard that detonates for damage after a few seconds. When activated, it deals AoE magic damage and silences enemies, providing strong team fight utility.
Sometimes, shield becomes smashing board.
Braum's combination of defense capability, crowd control, and protection make him a valuable support and frontline presence in Wild Rift. Braum's passive will make you the best support any ADC want to play beside, which marks enemy hit by a basic attack or ability, and when allies attack those marked enemies, they applied additional stack, stunning the target upon reaching for stats. If you're facing a Braum, he will slow you to death. With his Q, which blow enemies' head and apply a stack of concussive blows, aiding in crowd control and peeling for allies. Braum will protect you with his life, using his E, which raises his shield to block incoming projectile and reduce damage taken by him and allies behind him. He's like a father to his allies. Braum's W allow him to leap to an ally, granting both himself and the champion bonus armor and magic resistance. And if you don't like how the ground look, Braum offer you an ultimate that can create a fissure that knocks up and slow enemies in its path, providing strong initiating and zoning in team fight. These are the champions I suggest for beginner. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button for more content. See you soon.